Everyone is listening to the story on the channel The Ambiguous Heart, wishing you deeply emotional and captivating moments. Today, we invite you to the story, The Fallen King, a heartbreaking basketball romance story, Episode 1. The night in Portland was drowned in cold rain. Streaks of highway lights sliced across the wet asphalt like blades of light. Emily Miller stood huddled by the roadside, her hands trembling, not only from the biting wind, but from the message she had just received. Marcus, ready? He's on his way. Emily clenched the old phone tightly. 20 years of living in poverty had never broken her, but 3 months under Marcus's coercion had nearly destroyed her. Marcus, the man who had driven her father's company into bankruptcy through dirty financial schemes. And now, he held her father's criminal records like a noose, forcing Emily to obey. This order was more terrifying than all the others. Get close to Kylan Drexler, NBA basketball superstar, king of the court, the man the entire nation watched with every step he took. Emily bit her lip until it bled. Dad, I'm sorry. The roar of an engine tore through the night. A black Lamborghini Huracan shot down the rain-slick road, its headlights sharp as blades. Emily recognized it instantly. Kylan Drexler's car. At the same time, a truck in the opposite lane suddenly accelerated abnormally fast. Marcus's script had begun. No, please don't! The crash exploded like thunder. The Huracan spun wildly across the road, slammed into the median barrier, its body twisting into mangled metal. Emily ran toward it on instinct. Kylan! Can you hear me? The door burst open as she yanked it hard. Smoke, gasoline, and the stench of scorching metal filled the air. Kylan lifted his face, his eyes unfocused, blood streaming from his temple. Who are you? His words came broken, his breathing chaotic. That gaze, cold yet lost, filled with confusion, made Emily's chest tighten painfully. I'm here. I'll get you out. Don't fall asleep, okay? Her voice was shaking, but her hands were strangely steady. She dragged him out of the driver's seat and laid him on the roadside. His body was heavy, rigid like stone, but Emily did not let go. In the distance, sirens began to wail. Around the wreck, bystanders started to gather, but everything blurred in Emily's vision. All she could see was Kylan's face, streaked with blood, pale and cold, yet his eyes clung to hers as if grasping for life. Don't leave me, Kylan whispered, his voice like a fading breath. Emily swallowed hard. No, I won't leave you. As the paramedics lifted Kylan onto the stretcher, Emily stood frozen, her fists clenched until they turned white. She knew she had just stepped onto a path with no way back. Her phone vibrated. Marcus? Good. Step 1, perfect. Step 2, make him trust you. When he trusts you, he will destroy himself. Emily watched as the ambulance disappeared into the night, her heart tightening painfully. The dark road she had been forced to walk had finally begun. Kylan Drexler woke up in the stark white room of Portland General Hospital. The ceiling light so blinding that he had to shut his eyes immediately. His head felt as if thousands of shards of glass were cutting into it. Where am I? He tried to shift his body, but the pain in his shoulder and chest was so intense that he stiffened. The steady, cold beeping of the monitor echoed beside him. Then the door opened. A voice as soft as a breeze brushed against him. You're awake. Kylan opened his eyes. The girl stood beside the bed, Emily. There was worry in her gaze, yet also calm, and unconsciously his tense shoulders relaxed. Who are you? Kylan asked, his voice hoarse. Emily hesitated for a second. She had prepared for this moment, but her heart still tightened when she heard him speak like that. I'm the person who called the ambulance for you. I was there when the accident happened. The accident. That word made Kylan's chest constrict. A blurry image of a truck flashed through his mind, then vanished like an unfinished dream. Emily continued, her voice gentle but firm. The doctor said you have a mild head injury and temporary memory loss. You need to rest. Kylan stared at her for a long moment. The strangest thing wasn't the loss of memory, but the sense of safety he felt just looking at her face. He didn't know who she was, yet something in those eyes made him believe she wouldn't harm him. How long? Have you been here? He asked. Almost the whole night, Emily replied. She didn't say that she had been trembling in fear that he might stop breathing at any moment. Thank you. Kylan spoke a rare word, one he didn't easily say to anyone. For the next 2 days, Emily stayed at the hospital as his temporary caregiver. She helped him eat, changed his bandages, and supported him as he walked slowly along the corridor when the doctor ordered light movement. At first, Kylan was wary, true to the man he had been before the accident. But the more time he spent with Emily, the more that layer of ice began to crack. Once, as Emily handed him his medicine, her hand trembled slightly. Kylan noticed. "Are you afraid of me?" he asked. Emily shook her head. "I'm afraid of hurting you." Kylan froze for a brief moment, not because of the answer, but because her voice was too genuine. Not the voice of someone trying to please him, to fake closeness, or to approach him for fame. He had met hundreds of such people. Emily was not like them. On the third night, Emily replaced the cold compress on his forehead. Kylan lay still, his narrowed eyes quietly observing her. "You don't ask about my wealth. You don't ask about my team. You don't ask to take pictures." He paused, then continued, "Everyone else does." Emily lowered her head. "I don't care about those things." "Then what do you care about?" Kylan asked, not as an interrogation, but with genuine curiosity. Emily took a deep breath. "Dad? I'm sorry." She couldn't tell the truth. "I care about whether you live." Kylan was stunned. Throughout his career, he had heard countless flattering, flowery words, but no one had ever told him that, so simply and sincerely. The next morning, the doctor informed him that he could be discharged early, but he would need someone to assist him for a few weeks. Kylan looked at Emily. She stood silently, unsure whether she should stay or step back to avoid trouble. But he had already decided, Emily. Kylan's voice dropped, serious. "Move into my penthouse. I need someone I can trust, and I trust you." Emily's throat tightened. "He trusts me. If he knew who I really am, he would never say that." But for her father, for her fear of Marcus, for everything she had already been dragged into, she had no choice but to nod. Kylan saw her hesitation, but didn't understand its cause. He only thought, this girl is too genuine, so genuine that it makes me want to protect her. Kylan Drexler's penthouse sat at the very top of a luxurious glass tower, offering a view of nearly all of Portland. But when Emily stepped inside, what overwhelmed her wasn't the extravagance. It was the cold silence that blanketed the space. The apartment was flawless in its beauty, yet it held no warmth. She wondered. A man living alone in absolute wealth, with nothing but darkness for company all these years. How lonely must he have been? The first days in the penthouse passed in an unfamiliar rhythm. Emily prepared breakfast for Kylan, partly because it was her task, but partly because she realized he didn't really know how to take care of himself. "Did you sleep well?" Emily asked as she set a glass of smoothie on the table. Kylan stared at the smoothie as if she had placed a strange object on the walnut table. "Did I used to drink this?" Emily let out a soft laugh. "You drank it every morning. A protein smoothie to maintain muscle." Kylan raised an eyebrow. "So I'm someone who likes drinking this strange thing?" Emily nodded, holding back a smile. "Not just likes. You really like it." Kylan looked at her for a few seconds, then shrugged and took a long drink. He grimaced. "This flavor should be banned from competition." Emily burst into real laughter. A small sound, yet it made Kylan's heart subtly tremble. He suddenly thought maybe losing his memory was a kind of blessing, because he could now look at this life with new eyes. And those eyes, at this very moment, saw only Emily. The weeks of rehabilitation began. Emily took Kylan to the sports medicine center every day. At first, he kept his distance, but then, "Emily, where are you standing?" "Right here." "And that blurry shadow? That's the doctor, Kylan." "Oh." He only felt at ease when Emily touched his hand, steadied his balance, and spoke to him in a gentle yet firm voice. Then came the first training sessions with the basketball. Kylan hadn't regained 100% of his reflexes yet, but his body remembered. Before every shot, Emily handed him a bottle of water, lightly placed her hand on his shoulder, and said the familiar line, "Go win this for yourself." That small sentence was like a key unlocking a door inside him. In Kylan's eyes, Emily was no longer just a caregiver. She was motivation, the reason he wanted to return to the court. He had fallen in love with her without realizing it. But as their feelings grew, the darkness tightened its grip. One evening, Emily's phone vibrated. The sender's name appeared on the screen, M.H. Marcus Hale. She shuddered. The message read, "Send me the small file from the Drexler Company's secondary server. That's all. Do it." Emily clenched her phone so tightly her knuckles turned white. She didn't want to. She couldn't. But her father was still in Marcus's hands. Kylan was asleep in the living room, his breathing steady, his face wearing a rare look of peace. Emily looked at him, her heart tightening. I'm sorry, Kylan. She opened the laptop, trembling as she downloaded the file Marcus demanded. Just one file, one command, one small cut that she knew would leave a massive wound on Kylan. The next morning, a flood of urgent emails from the Drexler Company's legal department. Contracts stolen, projects sabotaged, stock prices plunging. At the same time, an anonymous article broke the news that Kylan's team was using banned substances. The media exploded. Jordan, his best friend and teammate, stormed into the penthouse, slamming the door open. Kylan, do you know what's going on? The team is on fire because of that damn doping rumor. Kylan remained silent. He had just come back from a press conference, exhausted from having to explain to the entire world that he had nothing to do with any banned substances. Jordan looked around and spotted Emily in the kitchen. A flash of suspicion crossed his eyes. Yesterday I saw her meeting some stranger. The guy didn't look clean at all. Kylan. Kylan's voice turned icy. Stop. Jordan frowned. You really trust her that much? Kylan didn't hesitate. Yes, I trust her. Emily stood frozen. There wasn't a trace of doubt in Kylan's eyes. She broke into tears. Not because of guilt, but because that trust hurt so deeply she could barely breathe. Kylan stepped forward and placed his hand on her shoulder. It's okay, Emily. Everything will be fine. I trust you. Emily pressed her face into his palm, hot tears streaming down. Don't trust me. Kylan, I don't deserve it. Everyone is listening to the story on the Ambiguous Heart channel. If this story has touched your emotions, don't forget to subscribe to follow the next episodes. 3 weeks passed. Drexler Corporation's stock was still in free fall. The team struggled under the media's relentless pressure as the doping rumors refused to die down. Yet Kylan remained unshaken for just one reason. Emily was always by his side. She didn't just take care of him. She was like a hand pulling him out of the darkness he had been trapped in for years. And then, the fateful day arrived. The day of the 7th basketball game, the most crucial final of the season. Portland burned like a sea of fire. Crowds packed the stadium. The press clung to every movement without letting go. In the locker room, Kylan picked up the familiar water bottle on the table, the one Emily was supposed to bring him before every match. But she still hadn't appeared. Where's Emily? Kylan asked Mason, his assistant. She said she'd be here right after a call from... right. Someone called her just now. Mason replied. A chill ran straight down Kylan's spine, because at that exact moment, Emily's phone and Kylan's phone received the same message from Kylan's ex-girlfriend. I gave birth to your child, along with a photo of a bright-eyed baby with the same blue eyes Kylan had as a child. Emily's entire body froze. The world in front of her blurred, as if all the air had been sucked out of the room. His child? No, it couldn't be. But her heart didn't listen to reason. It only heard one screaming voice. You don't deserve him. Kylan frowned as he read the message. Confusion and even irritation showed clearly on his face. Emily, this. He didn't even get to finish. Emily stepped back, her eyes like someone who had just fallen into an abyss. Do you already have a child? Emily, listen to me. She shook her head, her voice choking. I need some air. Emily turned and ran, her heart shattering into 1,000 pieces. But she didn't know that. That pain was only half of the real catastrophe. The moment she stepped into the elevator, Emily received another email. Sender, A. Thomas, confidential. The initials of the man who had once received data from her, the subordinate Marcus had forced into submission. The email contained only one line. Marcus is the one who bankrupted your father's company. I have proof, but he's found out. They're hunting me down. You must come help me immediately. Emily was struck dumb. The mastermind behind her father's downfall. It was Marcus. He had destroyed her life and then used that very desperation to force her into becoming a spy. Her legs went weak. Dad, everything you suffered was because of him. If the evidence was lost, she could never save her father. If that man died, she would be trapped under Marcus's control forever. She had to go. Now. Immediately. No time to text Kylan. No time to explain. No time even for a goodbye. And she didn't want him to see her collapse over that love child message either. Emily bolted out of the penthouse, dragging her suitcase so hurriedly it slammed against the wall. The building's security guard looked at her. Ms. Emily, where are you going? The game is about to. I'm sorry, I have to leave right now. She threw herself into a taxi and shut the door, tears welling up but not falling. I'm sorry, Kylan. I can't let you get dragged into this. I can't let my father die. And I can't stand there, facing the truth that you already belong to someone else. The car pulled away from the city center. The door between Emily and Kylan's world slammed shut. She vanished like a shadow, leaving behind only a security camera recording her frantic escape, a clip that, just minutes later, Kylan would replay over and over in despair. The roar from Rose Arena thundered into the waiting room like rolling thunder. Tens of thousands of fans were on edge for the seventh basketball game, the championship match that would decide the entire season. But Kylan Drexler was only staring at the door. In every previous game, Emily would walk in, hand him his water, adjust his wrist tape, and smile softly. Go win this for yourself. But today, no knock, no footsteps, no smile, no Emily. Jordan slapped his shoulder hard. Bro, 5 minutes until tip-off. Portland is waiting for you to make history. No response. Jordan frowned. Hey, are you listening to me? Kylan didn't answer, his eyes still fixed on the door as if, by staring long enough, Emily would walk in. Jordan sighed. It's because of that message about the kid, right? Don't let it. Don't talk about Emily. Kylan cut him off, his voice so cold and deep that Jordan froze mid-sentence. Just then, the door burst open. Kylan's heart leapt. Emily. But it wasn't her. It was Mason, his personal assistant, his face deathly pale. Boss, Emily has left, in a hurry. She didn't tell anyone. The air turned solid. Kylan spun toward him. What did you say? I saw her dragging a suitcase. She looked like she was terrified of something. Kylan snatched his phone and opened the security feed. Emily appeared on the screen. Running out of the elevator, eyes red, her hand gripping the suitcase so tightly her knuckles were white. His heart dropped into his chest. She really left. Jordan rushed up and grabbed his shoulders. Kylan, stay calm. You have to go on the court. This is the finals. No one walks out now. Kylan looked at Jordan. One glance was enough to choke him silent. I have to find her. Jordan shouted. If you leave, you destroy your career. The whole city is waiting for you. Kylan's fists clenched. If I don't go now, I'll lose her forever. Jordan tried to stop him. Kylan, she's just Jordan. Kylan cut in, his voice low but razor sharp. She is not just anything. She is the person I chose to place my trust in. Jordan stood frozen. He had never seen Kylan speak about anyone like that. Kylan threw the towel onto the chair, walked straight out, leaving behind the noise, his teammates, his fame, the championship trophy, everything. Jordan shouted after him, Kylan, if you walk out that door, you'll never be the same again. But the door had already slammed shut. Inside a taxi heading west of the city, Emily clutched her bag, her head leaning against the window as it rattled over potholes. Her phone vibrated. She answered immediately. Where are you? I'm coming right now. Don't let anyone see you. Hide carefully. I'll protect the evidence. You just stay alive. From the other end came broken, panicked breathing. Marcus has found me. Then the signal cut off. Emily bit her lip until it bled. She knew, if she didn't make it in time, that man would die. And Marcus's crimes would be buried forever. Her father and Kylan would never be cleared. The taxi sped off, leaving behind the lights of Rose Arena, where a man was losing everything because of one false message and one girl who couldn't tell the truth. At the arena, chaos exploded. Twitter, Instagram, the media all erupted at once. Kylan Drexler is absent? King of the court skips the finals? Portland collapses over a woman? Fans raged. Shareholders panicked. The team spiraled. Drexler Corporation's stock kept crashing. In a high-rise office, Marcus watched the live stream and smirked. Perfect. And Kylan? He drove like a man possessed, speeding through street after street, his voice hoarse. Emily, where are you? Thank you for joining The Ambiguous Heart in The Fallen King, a heartbreaking basketball romance story, Episode 1. A night when the king of the basketball court was brought to his knees by the truth, not by an opponent, but by the very woman he was desperately searching for. Elsewhere, Emily plunged into the darkness to protect a life and cling to the only chance she had to bring down Marcus. Yet, in that very moment, both of them stepped into a battle with no turning back. They had no idea that the path they chose would draw them closer together and also drag them deeper into the abyss than ever before. If you want to know, Will Kylan find Emily before Marcus makes his move? What secret does the man being hunted carry? And what shocking revelation awaits them at the beginning of episode 2? Press subscribe, hit like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss episode 2 of the story. Thank you for listening through episode 1. See you in episode 2, where the first truth will finally be revealed.